Welcome back to Pewdiepie. I'm Zui and I hope you enjoyed today's video. But before we get right into it, I'm obligated to remind you to click either the like or dislike button, commenting something down below, and of course sharing the video so more people can see and enjoy it. This is very important as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I want you to know that your help is greatly appreciated. If you have any suggestions or ideas for a story, my Discord link is in my link tree that is down in the description, as well as my Patreon and Ko-fi for any donations you may want to send my way. Every cent counts. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Your breath hitched as you stared at the few cents of money you had still left. Damn it. Of course you knew that your time in this motel wouldn't last long. It had been 3 years since you'd been kicked out at home. You didn't have a job. You didn't have any money. Being homeless sucked. And now that it was November, and the days were getting colder and colder, your desperate begging had turned for a third time into the choice of food versus motel. Sure, in summer you had less issues sleeping outside. At least it was warm. But in winter, you paid for the cheapest motel in town. The Grandfather Clock Motel. Named that way because the gross owner's most prized possession was his family heirloom handcrafted clock. It was only $10 a day. Definitely cheaper than any housing in the city. You didn't even mind the tacky, moldy rooms, because it was warm. You had a TV, even a bathroom with a shower. To you, this had become paradise. As you walked downstairs with shaky legs, setting down your keys at the reception, you were eyed by the owner. "Going already?" he said behind the desk, his stupid clock tick-tocking loudly behind him. You didn't reply, just turned around to leave. But before your foot left the doorstep, "You know, if you keep me company tonight, I'll give you that room for free next time." You shuddered and just walked. The creep had been trying to spiel for way too long, but no, you weren't desperate enough. At least not yet. Right now you were wearing 3 layers of clothing. It was freezing outside. Winter has come early this November. A backpack you were carrying in your right hand held every possession you still had. Some blue socks, none of them matching. Some almost falling apart shoes for summer. Right now you were wearing quite worn out boots you had snagged from a beach last year's summer. They were a little too big, but you liked stepping on frozen puddles with them. They really were the little things now, weren't it? That gave you just a smidgen of happiness. The problem with the grandfather clock was that the motel was located in the outskirts of town, so you already were wasting precious time. The street you found yourself on led into the city was surrounded by grain fields. Empty, of course, due to the time of year, which made it the perfect place for the ice-cold wind to just storm across your face and body, freezing you even further, down to your core. Damn it, you were wearing 3 layers. 3. Sure, they were ragged old shirts and coats, but still, you needed to speed up. Raising your head a little, you stared at the very, very slowly approaching skyscrapers of Midtown. Right now it was probably only 10 AM. There was no way you could pity up enough cash for a warm meal tonight. A particularly heavy gust of wind took you by surprise, and you fell. Great, you thought, as you lied there on the hard ground. Slowly you lifted yourself on all fours before standing up. And as you wiped off the coarse dirt covering you, the noise of a slowly approaching car got your attention. Driving next to you, as you continued walking, was a large black limousine. You scoffed immediately. Hope the rich nut inside was enjoying the show. The car, however, didn't speed up, even as minutes passed. It was actually kinda shielding you from the wind. And even 10 minutes later, whoever was inside the car still hadn't made its driver speed off. What the hell was going on here? Quickly you risked a peek. At some point the window that was looking out to you had been pulled down. Inside sat a well-dressed blonde man. Stone-cold expression on his face as he just stared forward. So that must be the creep staring at you, cold suffering. It took them another 10 minutes to open their mouth. Nice day, isn't it? His voice was deep and commanding. Clearly he was a big shot, and he knew it. You didn't respond. Are you homeless? You certainly look like it. You bit your lower lip to suppress your emotions. You're pretty. A shame a face like that has to scrabble with the riff-raff and lowlifes. Not interested. The man chuckled at your comment. Still, you refused to look at him. I'm not asking for much, sweetheart. Your heart sunk. You can use your hands or mouth if you want, depending on your preference. You felt sick. Angrily, you pressed your eyes shut, and in just a split second you were at his door, slamming your hands on the window's opening. From inside of his limo you could smell just the most wondrous mix of scents. Cinnamon, lavender, wine, champagne. It was already making you drunk. Now listen here, I'm not that kind of girl. Clearly. After all, even a common pimp would dress his girls better. Angrily you gritted your teeth. And that's when the man pointed a finger at you. Ah, there it is. That I like. Your eyes twitched. This kind of passion. He looked at you, his crimson eyes burrowing into your soul, like the devil himself. But fine. If you like to continue being disobedient and picking up scraps, who am I to take that away from you? He then reached into the pocket of his suit, pulling out a pristine black business card with golden lettering. It read, Dynamite Incorporated, Mr. Bakugou, Chief Executive Officer, followed by a phone number. Your eyes widened with disgust as Bakugou pulled up the window and sped off. Only God knew why you didn't throw away that stupid card. As many days later you were standing in front of a phone booth. 25 cents. 25 cents. Are you really about to throw away your last 25 cents to call some rich big shot to be your sugar daddy for a night? But you were so hungry. Plus, you looked up at the sky, muddy clouds looming over you. It would snow today. You suppressed a hot tear as you stepped into the booth, throwing away your money and dialing the number. Dynamite Incorporated, this is Hanazawa speaking. You blinked. Hello? The woman on the other hand sounded professional. Hello, Mr. Katsuki gave me his card. Who am I speaking to? You told her your name. My apologies, but your name is not in the guest list. Would you like to make an appointment? Which company do you represent? The woman was interrupted for a moment. Oh, sorry, sir, it's a woman inquiring about an appointment. Your heart beat faster, your breath hitching. I see. Yes, I understand. The woman's attention returned to you. Are you that woman he saw a few days ago on the street? Yes. It's her, sir. You heard some rummaging in the background for a split second, and then Bakugou's voice boomed from the phone. Not even giving you a hello, he just said, "Did you think about my proposal?" Your lips quivered. Is it really okay if I only use my hands? Of course, sweetheart. You went quiet for a moment. Patiently, Bakugou waited. And only when the phone suddenly beeped, indicating that this call would soon be forced to end in just 10 seconds, you said, I'll do it. Great. Meet me at Hotel Castor in 3 hours. A hotel? You blushed as the call was forced to end by the payphone. Frowning, you turned around. You knew Hotel Castor. It was expensive. Not the most expensive place in the city, admittedly, but definitely 100% out of your price range. Even back then when you had a family that cared about you. $1,200 a night. 5 stars. Your stomach growling, your feet hurting. You arrived 3 hours later at the decadent parking lot. Limousines were lined there. Expensive cars. It looked so shiny and beautiful. Like a different world. And there you waited. And waited. In the snow. Were you being stood up? And then you saw as a guy in red uniform approached you. He looked quite formal. A name tag decorated his chest proudly. He bowed before you. My apologies, miss, but I have been sent by a gentleman in one of our VIP suites. He has requested you to follow me inside to his room. He had been here the entire time. He had been watching you suffer in the cold the entire time you waited. Yeah, sure. Your face flushed out of embarrassment. Quietly, with your head sunk, you followed the hotel employee inside. You're so ashamed. Feeling the eyes of the rich clientele of the hotel on you, looking dirty, cold, covered in rags. This was a mistake. You and the employee stepped into an elevator to the highest floor. You then walked down a lavishly, beautifully decorated hallway, lined with doors. Your companion knocked on door 111, and Bakugou soon thereafter opened the door. Embarrassed, you went inside, as Bakugou gave the man a large tip before closing the door behind you. The rich man then walked over to the giant king-sized bed with beautiful white covers, where he then once again sat down. He was wearing a black suit. He had been waiting here for hours.
Well, he said after a minute. Take 'em off. Biting your lower lips, you begin to pull down the zipper of your outermost coat. Katsuki didn't speak. Not until you were down to your underwear. Okay, stop. He then pointed at the door that most likely led to the bathroom. I got there something for you. And wash yourself. You stink. You did as you were told. The bathroom was beautiful, and it alone was about the size of the dingy motel room you had called home almost a month ago. The faucet was gold. The toilet was gold. And draped over a towel handle hung a tiny black dress. Oh, God. That dress alone probably was worth more than your life, you thought. Suppressing a tear of shame, you went into the shower, using the designer shampoo given to you to wash your hair, clean your skin, using a golden hairdryer that hung in an outlet under the mirror of the bathroom sink. You prepared yourself. And as you threw on the dress, you realized that it was a little too loose. Understandable, you haven't eaten in days after all. Slowly and barefoot, you stepped out of the bathroom. Meanwhile, Bakugou had loosened his tie and unbuckled his belt. He smirked. Good girl, was all he said. I've really only used my hands, right? Of course. He ended up keeping his word. And after the two of you finished your business, he convinced you to sleep next to him on the giant bed. He even ordered room service. That night, your dreams were filled with shame and fear. You couldn't believe what you had done. And in the morning you awoke to an empty hotel room. It was 10 a.m. On the nightstand was a letter with some cash under it. My dear sweetheart, the room has been paid until the 25th. Today was the 24th. Enjoy. Under it, the bundle of banknotes. Your jaw dropped, and drool came out of your mouth. It were $200. $200 and a warm luxury hotel room for one more day. You continued reading the letter. Next time, I'd like to do more. Immediately your mood changed. You know my number. And don't call me unless you're willing.